I haven't talked. No, I haven't talked to him.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
You're joking.
Okay, I want to print out this thing from the trees and find someone to run this so I can go.
Huh. I'll find you.
What are you looking? Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Let's sing a little.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm on spring break.
All right.
Yeah,
We can tell.
it's definitely all right. It's definitely all right. You know the words to this. Kind of catch up here. I will talk to my brothers about God my Father, and together we'll sing of His praises. Again, I will talk to my brothers about God my Father, together we'll sing of His praises. Together we will sing His praises. Hallelujah. Together we will sing His praises. Hallelujah. La la la, hallelujah. La la la, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. La la la, hallelujah, hallelujah. I will talk to my brothers about God my Father. Together we'll sing of His praises. I will talk to my brothers about God my Father. Together we'll sing of His praises. Together we will sing His praises. Hallelujah. Together we will sing His praises. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Echo. All right. Just think of that cartoon. There's a cartoon, Warner Brothers. Bugs Bunny, Bar versus Village. Anyway, just the first two notes. That's all it is, and the rest of it's fine. Okay. I once was dead, my spirit cold. I had no joy, far from the fold. Messiah came, He made me sing. Oh, He put laughter into my soul. Oh, come, let's sing, let us rejoice. Oh, come, let's sing, let us rejoice. Messiah's come, and He brought joy. Oh, He brought laughter into my soul. Long ago they promised He'd bring us light. Long ago they promised He'd bring us light. A light to lighten, oh, and bring me. But He brought laughter into my soul. Oh, come, let's sing, let us rejoice. Oh, come, let's sing, let us rejoice. Messiah's come, oh, He brought joy. Oh, He brought laughter into my soul. It would have been enough had He brought light. It would have been enough had He brought peace. It would have been enough had He brought love. But He brought laughter into my soul. Oh, come, let's sing, let us rejoice. Oh, come, let's sing, let us rejoice. Messiah's come, and He brought joy. Oh, He brought laughter into my soul. Oh, come, let's sing, let us rejoice. Oh, come, let's sing, Let us rejoice, Messiah has come. And He's brought joy, He brought laughter into my soul. I'm going to do that little key change at the end. I throw anybody off. Everyone's good with it? Okay.
Can you figure out if the sound is coming from here or here? To the camera. By looking at this. Yeah. We want to. Because this feeds it to the board right here.
Okay. I mean, there's a mic. The mic is working. Looks like the mic's working.
Okay.
And then this is fed to there. I'll have to ask Matt just to make sure. Doesn't know either. Okay. Well, it looks like the mic is working. I couldn't necessarily say if it's being fed correctly.
Practice over and over again. Sound of the Hebrew and how it kind of flows. Sometimes faster is better. Anyway, by all means, hey. I mean not me. By all means. בימים ההם תירשי יהודה לירושלים תצא מפתח בימים ההם תירשי יהודה לירושלים תצא מפתח say Yisrael Adonai Tzidkenu Adonai Tzidkenu Adonai Tzidkenu Tzidkenu Adonai Tzidkenu Adonai Tzidkenu Adonai Tzidkenu Tzidkenu. Now you see how faster is better sometimes? Listen. In English. In those days, Judah shall be saved, and Jerusalem shall dwell in safety. In those days, Judah shall be saved, and Jerusalem shall dwell in safety. Now this is the name by which it shall be called. This is the name by which it shall be called. The Lord our righteousness, the Lord our righteousness, the Lord our righteousness, our righteousness. The Lord our righteousness, the Lord our righteousness, the Lord our righteousness, our righteousness. How about the Hebrew again, huh? Ready for it? Kibasha Yehuda, Yerushalayim Tishkenu Tetam. Vayamim Lahem, Kibasha Yehuda, Yerushalayim Tishkenu Tetam. Mitzvei Shel Yikra'elach, Mitzvei Shel Yikra'elach. Adonai-Tzidkeinu, 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 Tzidkeinu, Adonai-Tzidkeinu, 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 Tzidkeinu.
I would mess up. Sounds pretty good already. Trying to keep up with you guys.
May the Lord protect and defend you. May He always shield you from shame. May you come to be in paradise, a shining day. May you be like Ruth and like Boaz. May you be deserving of praise. Strengthen them, O Lord, and keep them from the stranger's way. May God bless you and grant you long life. Fulfill us prayer for you. May God make you good husbands and may He cause your ways to always care for you. May the Lord protect and defend you. May the Lord preserve you from pain. Favor them, O Lord, with happiness and peace. Oh, hear our Sabbath prayer.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Hello, good evening. Hi.
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 There it is.
Hi. Hi's everyone. Hi. So, we got Windows 10 because, you know, they're not going to be supplying us with any more whatever Windows we have. So, yeah, we're looking for a file. It's very exciting. Involves a lot of prayer. Good evening. Well, we do have some announcements. We've gotten a bunch of things completed in the past several weeks, in case you've noticed. We had a very successful work day where we did a whole bunch of stuff. And then we're going to have work day part 2. We were so successful in our work day that we filled up a whole dumpster. We filled it up so completely that it's now been taken away by the dumpster people, and they brought us a brand new empty one. I mean an empty, not a brand new. Empty one, and it's just begging. There's boxes upstairs that will, it's sort of like saying, feed me, Seymour. That would be the dumpster that's talking. And so we must give it boxes of juice that we still have left over. So that was successful. Yes, and so that's at the bottom of it. I was hoping it was at the bottom of the sheet. This Sunday, March 10th, 10 a.m., it will be part 2. And it basically is going to be taking stuff from various things to throw out. There's something, there's nothing like throwing stuff out that needs to get thrown out. There's something very cathartic in a good way about that, right? Is it me? Is it just me? No, it's just you. Okay. That would be, not anything valuable or like people. However, I've had thoughts about that too. If you had a dead body, you could hide it. Never mind. That's my problem. Okay. John and I are still in negotiations about when we will have like the first meeting of the people who took the blast off a couple weeks ago. I have not forgotten, and he has not forgotten, but we're still in negotiations. We're in a very busy season right now. But we are planning things for Saturdays at around noonish. So if you can keep those sort of free in your mind, starting in a couple weeks, we'll have some announcements to make very soon. The next big brouhaha we're going to have here is in I guess 3 weeks from tonight, our Purim party. Yeah, so a Purim party, and you can have your fill of all the food you bring yourself. Because unless you bring food, there won't be anything to eat, so you know what you need to do. And then we'll have a Purim play. This year we have stolen from the best sources. John and I do not make up every single thing that we do. Honestly, we don't. We steal from the best sources. And we either try not to let them know, or we give them credit. So my credit goes to David Wine. He's out in the Washington, D.C. area. He's a millennial. He's a new rabbi. He's adorable. And he bragged about this on our leaders' Facebook page. And so I said, yes, we'd be interested. And so then I had to tweak it. It was edit tweak. So it was called Mordecai Private Eye, but we changed it to Delvin for Mordecai. So it's the down and dirty police and detective work of the late 40s, early 50s film noir. So very dark, very grimy, very, what's it to ya? That kind of people. So I had the opportunity to explain to our millennial friends, I said, did you ever watch the Bowery Boys? Oh, yeah. And I got to see, thank you. I said, the Bowery Boys were really fun. And that's from that era where you have teenage versions of the Harbaugh Detective and the Street Gangs. And so, Bowery Boys. So that would be fun. Very cool. If we could find the file that I just did today.
I do that.
If not, we'll just be reading it out of the Bible. I don't know. All right, what else do I need to tell you? The blue boxes in the back are for anything that you can give us at this time of year. We really appreciate anything you can give us, always. Because we cleaned out boxes, and you know what that means. What does it mean at your house? You cleaned out a room. What's going to happen next at your house? You're going to fill in something, aren't you? Yes, you are. Or you're going to move something from another room and put it in there.
But you can't fill it up with good stuff unless you get rid of the old batch.
Okay, that's my point. And so God makes a way now that there's room for new stuff. Okay, no new stuff. But anyway, for all that, we need some cash, and that would be nice of you. We appreciate it. Spring is interesting in Florida. Did you notice that? I'm a little tired of getting jerked around between 80, and I have to have my air conditioning on, and 60, 55 or 60, and I have to have the heat on. Can we just have it in the middle? Where is it just, once again, it's just me. It's just me. Huh? Okay. Is it too hot or too cold out today? I don't know yet. The kids said, we want to go swimming. And we're going, it'll be too cold. What? Yeah. Welcome to my world. Anyway, no matter if we're calm or if we're crazy, no matter if we're just coasting along at a very good rate of speed, or if we're stuck in a corner, yelling at ourselves, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is there with us. And he understands us. He only gives us as much as we can handle at one time, and we can depend on him even with the petty problems and struggles that we find in the world every day. So let's remember to worship him and thank him. Shabbat Shalom.
You may be seated. As you correctly surmised, with the blowing of the shofar and the bringing in of the Torah in procession, today's Rosh Chodesh. So as Rosh Chodesh concludes, we thought we would tie into it as well this evening. So you'll see some additions to the service. Those additions are found in the inserts in your bulletin. And we begin with the first of those inserts. He says as he's looking for his insert. Always helps to have these. Okay, as you'll see, there are parts for the congregation and parts for the leader. With your permission, you can be the congregation, and I'll function as the leader. And these remind us of part of the focus of Rosh Chodesh and part of our commitment in its celebration or its observance. As God reminds us not only from season to season through the holidays, not only from week to week through the weekly Shabbat services, but also from month to month, that He is the one who brings on the light and darkness, varies at times in the seasons for our benefit, and it reminds us that He is committed to us through the whole of our lives. With that, by way of an introduction, we begin. I'll lead you in the first couple lines of the Hebrew and ask that you then pick it up in English. Yehi ratzon el panecha Adonai Elohim ve'Elohei Avotenu shekadesh aleinu et hakodesh hazeh letovah ve'liv bracha. And you respond?
May it be your will, O Lord our God, and God of our ancestors, to make this new month a month of good and blessing for us. Grant us long life, a life of peace, of good, of blessing, of provision, of vigor, a life marked by reverence for you and dread of sin, a life free from shame and dishonor, a life of prosperity and honor, a life in which love for your word and reverence for you, our God, will animate us, a life in which our heart's desires will be fulfilled for good. Amen.
He who performed miracles for our ancestors and liberated them from slavery to set them free, may He quickly liberate us and gather our exiles from the four corners of the earth, all of our people Israel, and let us say,
Amen. May the Holy One, blessed be He, make this month our too, a month of life and peace, of gladness and joy, of redemption and consolation for us and for all Israel, His people. And let us say, Amen.
this year for us is a lucky year. Well, a fortunate year. We get to celebrate not only 12 Rosh Chodeshim, Rosh Chodesh, whatever the plural is. We get 13, hence Adar 2. And as we continue that celebration and that reminder now, we turn to our Amida portions for this evening. It's paragraph 5, on pages 74 to 77, including the Rosh Chodesh editions. One of the emphases of Rosh Chodesh, it looks forward to the time when David's kingdom will be fully restored. It's the time when God will restore His presence to Zion. It's the time of the kingdom of David's greater son. We rise now, we face Jerusalem in the direction of the ark, and we utilize these words, pages 74 to 77. We shape our response, and we include, as I said, the Rosh Chodesh editions as well.
Our God and God of our ancestors, may the remembrance of Messiah, the Son of David, your servant, ascend, come and be accepted before you for salvation, for good, for grace, for kindness, for mercy, for life, and for peace on this day of Rosh Chodesh. Baruch atah Adonai, Makatish, Natodah. Blessed are you, O Lord, your God, who returns your presence to Zion. You may be seated. The next of the Rosh Chodesh editions continues on that same theme as we anticipate that time. When God restores his presence to Zion, it is, of course, the coming and return of the Messiah. And so, we utilize these words now as part of that response as we look forward to the time when, as it says, the Redeemer will come to Zion. The text begins, Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha Od, Kehaluka Selah, Ashrei Ha'am Shekachal Lo, Ashrei Ha'am She'adonai Elohai. And you respond,
Happy are they who reside in your house. They will praise you forever. Happy are the people who are thus favored. Happy are the people whose God is the Lord.
For a Redeemer will come to Zion, and to those that turn from sin in Israel, says the Lord. As for me, this is my covenant with them, says the Lord. My spirit that is on you, and my words which I have put in your mouth will not depart from you, nor from your children, nor from your children's children, from now and forever. And then all Israel will be redeemed, liberated, and restored when I take away their sins.
Oh, the extent of the riches of God's wisdom and knowledge! How mysterious are his ways! From him, and through him, and for him are all things. To him be all the glory forever. Amen.
Our Tehillah Habrit Parashah portion this week is also one of the inserts, and we'll do this again responsively. I'll lead you through the opening couple lines of the first paragraph. I ask you to do the English of that first paragraph. I will respond to you with the second paragraph and ask that you join with me in the third paragraph. Now that you're all confused, let's see if we can get this. Baruch Adonai Elohei Yisrael, ki pakad et amo vayishlach lo pedut vayarem lanu keren Yeshua b'beit David avdo.
Praise the Lord, the God of Israel, because he has come and has redeemed his people, as a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, to give his people the knowledge of salvation through the forgiveness of their sins.
Because of the tender mercy of our God, by which the rising sun has come to us from heaven, to shine on those living in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the path of peace.
Sovereign Lord, as you have promised, my eyes have seen your salvation, which you have prepared in the sight of all people, a light for revelation to the Gentiles, and the glory of your people Israel.
A light for revelation to the Gentiles and the glory of your people Israel. Sets us up very nicely for the lighting of the lights of Shabbat. And as we light them, yet again we're reminded that as with Rosh Chodesh, so also with Shabbat, we've got a guarantee of God's permanent commitment to us. We are his people, he is our God forever.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvoto v'tzivanu lahalik nershel Shabbat. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who has set us apart by your commandments and commanded us to light the candles for the Sabbath. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvoto v'tzivanu Lahayoit or Lagoyim Banantanwanu, Yeshua Mitzukenu, Ha-Olah Olam. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who sanctified us by your commandments and commanded us to be a light for the nations and gave us Yeshua, our Messiah, the light of the world. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Standing behind that guarantee that God has given to us, or actually more technically, sitting on a throne in the heavenly realms to guarantee what God has committed to us, is Yeshua, our Messiah. And so we respond with that understanding and with that confidence and with that gratitude. On pages 40 and 41, Ha Elohim Asher.
Ha Elohim Asher Tiber Mikedem Ha'amim Ra'ot Uvirahim Ra'ot El Ha'ot Ve'yal Ha'nevi Diver Aleinu Ve'acharit Hayamim Ha'elei Ve'yad ha'bein asher Zamei oreshko Yado Gam asar et ha'ulamim Uzohar kevodo V'selem atzmuto Ve'nosei kol bidbaro Ra'avura Ulecha she'asa Timur katayim Yashabibim Hadullah. In the past, God spoke to our fathers through the prophets at many times in various ways. But now, in the end of days, He has spoken to us by the Messiah, His Son, whom He appointed the heir of all things, and through whom He made the universe. The Son is the full radiance of God's glory and the flawless manifestation of His reality. He sustains all things by His powerful word. After He made atonement for sins, He sat down in the place of authority beside the majesty of heaven. True and firm, established and lasting, right and faithful, loved and treasured, desired and pleasant, feared and mighty, ordered and acceptable, good and beautiful is this word to us forever and ever.
And if indeed it is all that, desired and pleasant, loved and treasured, then it's appropriate for us to continue our response in gratitude, which is sometimes called praise. And we do so through half Kaddish, page 47.
Yigdal v'yigdash merava Ve'amanim rak yirutei v'yamnech v'alkutei v'chayechol v'yoechol v'chayechol b'et Yisrael v'algalom v'yisman kavim v'imaru Amen. Ya'ish me'rava Le'olam ulod ve'olayam Yivarach Yivarach v'yisavach v'yitbahar v'yitbomam v'yitnasei v'yithadal v'yithaleh v'yithalal Shemei nekudeshah v'avihu La'elah Laila mikol birchata v'sirata tushbechata v'nechemata ra'amiram be'alma v'imahu Amen. reign. Let his name be glorified and sanctified throughout the universe, which he created according to his purpose. May he bring about the reign of his kingdom in your lifetime, in your days, and in the lifetime of all the house of Israel, speedily, soon, and let all say, Amen. Let his great name be praised forever and ever, eternally. Blessed and praised, glorified and exalted, extolled and honored, magnified and lauded be the name of the Holy One, blessed be he, although he is far greater than all blessings, hymns, praises, and songs which are offered in the world. And all say, Amen. Amen.
On pages 34 and 35, as I suggested earlier, we are now reminded of the God who orders the cycles of time, varies the seasons. And he is the one who has reached out to bring us to himself. And he reminds us of his compassion and his concern as we see it reflected through the various times and seasons. And so we respond. Jacob leads us with the first paragraph, and then we respond with the second.
Blessed are you, O Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who by your word brings on the evening twilight, and by your wisdom opens the gates of the heavens. With understanding you order the cycles of time and vary the seasons, setting the stars in their courses in the sky according to your will. You create day and night, causing the light to pass away before the darkness, and the darkness before the light. By your will the day turns into night. The Lord of heavenly hosts is your name. O ever-living God, rule over us forever. Blessed are you, O Lord, who brings on the evening twilight.
With everlasting love you have loved the house of Israel, teaching us your Torah and precepts, your statutes and judgments. Therefore, O Lord our God, when we lie down and when we get up, we will meditate on your instructions and rejoice forever in the words of your Torah and in its teachings, for they are our life and sustenance. We will meditate upon them day and night. May your love never leave us. Blessed are you, O Lord, who loves your people, Israel.
He is the one who loves his people. His people do in turn pledge their love to him, and also pledge our commitment to do what it says we were going to do, and that is we will, when we lie down and when we get up, we will meditate on your instructions and rejoice forever in the words of your Torah. Those, in effect, are reshaping the words we're now about to affirm as we rise, face Jerusalem again, and respond with the words of the Shema. Beginning at the bottom of those pages and then continue to page 39. Again, you say to him, you are my God, you are my King, I will follow you fully and wholeheartedly.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem, Kivod Malachuto, Leolam Ba'ed. Ve'yavta et Adonai Elohecha, בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר כי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושנתם לפניך ודיברתם בשבתך בביתך ובביתך בדרך ושכמך וקרומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בעיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ומשתרעך. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord alone.
Blessed be he whose glorious kingdom is eternal. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your life, and with all your strength. These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Tie them as reminders on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the doorframes of your houses and on your gates.
On pages 88 and 89, Kamoka reminds us as we play our great God that there is truly none like the Lord our God. So we say, there's none like you, O Lord, among the gods, glorious and holiness, awesome in praises. Pages 88.
Ilchamocha ba'elim Adonai, Ilchamocha nedam b'chodesh, Dora tahilot, Osei Pele, Osei Pele. There is none like you among the gods, my Lord, and there is nothing that compares to your deeds. Your kingdom is a kingdom that endures for all eternity, and your sovereignty extends throughout all generations. Adonai Melech, Adonai Malach, Adonai Malach Le'olam Ha'ed. The Lord reigns, the Lord has reigned, the Lord shall reign throughout eternity. The Lord will bless his people with peace.
Your sovereignty extends throughout all generations. That in fact will be realized as by even so reminds us on the bottom of pages 88 and 89. Because that will be the time when truly from Zion will go forth the Torah, the word of the Lord, out of Jerusalem. And all people will respond.
ויהי בזוהרו ויאמר משה קום ארונה ויפרוסו לבכה וינוסו לפניך מבניך כי בציון תצא תורה כי בציון תצא תורה Adonai Yerushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Le'omo Yisrael B'kedushato. And it came to pass, whenever the ark went forward, Moses would say, Arise, O Lord, and let your enemies be scattered. May those who hate you flee from before you. For from Zion shall go forth the Torah, and the word of the Lord out of Jerusalem. Blessed be he who in holiness gave the Torah to his people Israel.
And now as people Israel and those who connected themselves with us respond in this great gift and tremendous treasure. That response is found on page 133.
The ark now unveils its treasure.
To our eyes and minds and hearts.
Inside the scroll of Torah stands.
It stands there with all its richness and wisdom.
As we listen, voices speak. Voices of our ancestors.
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Joseph, and Moses.
O God, they bring us your instructions for us.
Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, and Miriam speak to us as well.
O God, they move us to respond to your promises to us.
We are grateful for your words, the words of Torah.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord calls.
We will hear your words that we may learn them, love them, live them.
What does the Lord require of you? To fear him, love him, serve him, and walk in all his ways.
All the Lord has said, we will do.
Misharach Abotenu Avraham Yitzchak Yaakov. He who blessed our fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. May he bless Jenny. May he bless Gary. May he bless John. May he bless Connie, who have come up to honor God and the Torah. May the Holy One bless them and their families, and send blessing and prosperity on all the work of their hands. Baruch hu et Avraham Korah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Bless the Lord who is blessed.
Bless the Lord who is blessed forever and ever.
Blessed are you, Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who chose us from all peoples and gave to us the Torah. Blessed are you, Lord, giver of the Torah.
Pekudei Mishkan, Mishkan Ha'adat, Asher Pukad Al Pi Moshe, Avodat HaLeviim, B'yad Itamar Ben Aharon HaKohen. You may be seated, but only for a minute. Find out. The Hebrew is far easier than the English at this point. This is the accounting, the recording, however you want to put it, of the Mishkan of assembly, or the tabernacle of assembly or gathering. As you will find as the text goes on later, it's not the accounting of the Mishkan or tabernacle itself, but the materials, or the recording of the materials that went into it. Okay. The work which Moses accounted or reckoned, that work was done, the work of the Levites was done under the direction of Ithamar, son of Aaron, the priest. And then, of course, the accounting takes place. And that sets it up for the closing portion, which is what will be read for you in English momentarily, and that is the completion of that Mishkan. But that's not all that's there, it's also the completion of the book. That's what. So now you get to stand up again as the book concludes. Kinan Adonai al ha-mishkan yomam ve'esh yeh Laila bo le'enei kol beit Yisrael kol maseihem, which is And so the cloud, the glory of the Lord, resided or was on the Mishkan or the tabernacle daily. And the fire was there or was on it by night or nightly. And this is important too. And this is implied. It was there for the eyes of all of Israel, or so all Israel could see. And here's another critical passage, and that is throughout all their journeys, or wherever they were. And then since we finished the book, we say, Huzzah, Huzzah, Huzzah. Be strong, be strong, be strengthened. And we will if we take to heart these words. Oh yes, thank you. You may be seated.
Exodus 40, 33 to 38. Finally, he erected the courtyard around the tabernacle and the altar and set up the screen for the entrance to the courtyard. Then the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the glory of Adonai filled the tabernacle. Moshe was unable to enter the tent of meeting because the cloud remained on it, and the glory of Adonai filled the temple. Whenever the cloud was taken up over the tabernacle, the people of Israel continued with all their travels. But if the cloud was not taken up, then they did not travel onward until the day when it was taken up. For the cloud of Adonai was above the tabernacle during the day, and fire was in the cloud at night, so that all the house of Israel could see it throughout their travels.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם אתה בתוכנו. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Blessed are you, Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who gave us the Torah of truth and life everlasting, planted in our midst. Blessed are you, Lord, giver of the Torah.
Truly, one who gave us the Torah, this is what we now acknowledge as we respond on pages 98 to 99 of the Torah. Transliterations found on page 95. And here, you notice I haven't answered the same thing. Here, we, in a sense, fill the footsteps of our ancestors as we say, these are the words that have come from you. Now, those of you who've been in the Hebrew blast off, take a look at the first inside page of your bulletin, and you will follow along with what I just read. That's a portion. Just to remind you that you are buying into these words, but also that your Hebrew is come to the point where you can read along. Are you ready? All right. Eleh Pekudei HaMishkan. Mishkan Asher Ukan. Al Pi Moshe. Avodat HaLeviim. Gad Itamar Ben Aharon HaKohen. Did I get that right? You did too. And now, we acknowledge that these are the words that come directly from God. Please rise as our ancestors stood before God at Sinai, so we stand before Him as if at Sinai. And we respond with these words.
V'zot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael avi Adonai ve'ad Moshe. This is the Torah which Moses placed before the children of Israel. It is in accord with the Lord's commands by the hand of Moses.
You may be seated. Haftarah blessings are on pages 94 to 97. I need to say this about the Haftarah. This is not the Haftarah that occurs at this time, each time we read through this text. This is one of a couple Haftarah portions that occur at this time. If you look on the calendar, you will see the other Haftarah portion is the one that's assigned for this week, this time. But since this applies for tonight as well, and is a Haftarah, so we are treating it as such. Page 94 to 97 for the lessons.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nbiim tovim ורצה בדבריהם הנאמרים באמת. ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בתורה ובמשה עבדו ובישראל עמו ובנביאי האמת בסדר. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who selected good prophets, delighting in their word, which were spoken truthfully. Blessed are you, O Lord, who chose the Torah, your servant Moses, your people Israel, and the prophets of truth and righteousness. Ezekiel 36, verses 24 to 28 and 35. For I will take you from among the nations, gather you from all the countries, and return you to your own soil. Then I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you will be clean. I will cleanse you from all your uncleanness and from all your idols. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit inside of you. I will take the stony heart out of your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. I will put my spirit inside you and cause you to live by my laws, respect my rulings, and obey them. You will live in the land I gave to your ancestors. You will be my people, and I will be your God. Then they will say, the land that used to be desolate has become like Gan Eden, and the cities formerly ruined, abandoned, and wasted have been fortified and are inhabited. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam צור כל העולמים צדיק בכל הדורות האל הנאמן האומר ועושה המדבר וכהגים שכל דבריו אמת וצדק נאמן אתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו ונאמנים דבריך ולברך את מדבריך אחרון לא ישוב ריקיים כי הם מלך נאמן ורחמן אתה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הנאמן בכל דבריו. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, ruler of the universe, rock of all ages, righteous throughout all generations. You are the faithful God, promising, then performing, first speaking, then fulfilling. For all your words are true and righteous. Faithful are you, O Lord our God, and faithful are your words. For no word of yours shall remain unfulfilled. You are faithful and merciful, God and King. Blessed are you, O Lord God, who are faithful in fulfilling your words. Have mercy on Zion. It is the fountain of our life, and very soon deliver her who grieves deeply. Blessed are you, O Lord, who makes Zion rejoice with her children. Together,
make us joyful, O Lord our God, with the prophet Elijah your servant, and with the kingdom of the house of David your anointed. May Elijah come soon and bring joy to our hearts, Allow no stranger to sit on David's throne, nor inherit his glory. For by your holy name you swore to him
that his light would never be quenched forever.
Blessed are you, O Lord, the shield of David.
Words that come from God, whether directly from Sinai or through the mouth of his prophets, are words that should impact our lives, and we acknowledge that as we now respond to this. It is truly the true life. Waiting to take root in us, so we say, renew our days as a day. We say that on pages 96 and 97.
It's Chaim Hilam Machazikim Ba Vektor Pe'am Perusha Veracheha Darkei Noam V'chol Divoteha Shalom. Ashriveinu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva. Kadesh Yameinu, Kadesh Yameinu kekedem. Ashriveinu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva. Kadesh Yameinu, Kadesh Yameinu kekedem.
A tree of life it is to those who take hold of it, and happy are those who support it. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. Turn us, Lord, to you, and let us return. Renew our days as of old.
And now, we stand yet again, as priests of old stood before God, so we as his priests do now stand before him as well. And we respond in gratitude and commitment. Uzna Kar Yomar is our response, pages 98.
Unu Kol Yomar, Shuba Adonai Livavot Alfei Yisrael. When they are rested, Moses would say, Return, O Lord, to the myriads of Israel's families.
Arise, O Lord, to your resting place, you and your mighty ark. Clothe your priests with righteousness. May those who have experienced your faithful love shout for joy. For the sake of your servant David, don't delay the return of your Messiah.
I give you good instruction. Do not forsake my Torah.
And I'm going to give you good instruction as well. You got to welcome the people who are here, and while we welcome the people who are up front and congratulate them for the honor of being able to participate.
Shalom. Nice to meet you.
Okay, Shabbat school is excused, and that means you're excused to sit down.
Oh, that's beautiful lighting, man.
Since that you didn't take that excuse seriously, let me put it more bluntly. Sit down.
See. So much. This nice.
Whether or not you were paying attention this evening, here's what we read tonight. Then he erected the enclosure surrounding the tent and the altar, and set up the curtain at the entrance of the enclosure. So at last Moses finished the work. Interesting for later reminiscences, but not for tonight. Then the cloud, checking out, covered the tabernacle, and the glory of the Lord filled it. So Moses was not able to enter because the cloud was standing there. And the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. We have a similar kind of scene when we do the third paragraph of the Amidah and Pekudei, where we see that the glory of the Lord fills the temple that Isaiah finds himself in the heaven. Anyhow, back to our text. Whenever the cloud lifted and moved, the people of Israel journeyed onward, following it. But if the cloud stayed, they stayed until it moved. The cloud rested on the tabernacle, the Mishkan, during the daytime, and at night there was fire in the cloud, so that all the people of Israel could see it. And this continued throughout all their journeys. God never left them alone. He walked with them, which is why we call this our honeymoon walk with God. Now, reflecting on this amazing account, I'm going to suggest, raises the question, which could be the subtitle or the old title for tonight's Rosh. So, what just happened? At the least, as our daughter Eve pointed out a number of years ago when she read this particular portion, God was their ultimate night light that never burns out. He was, as well, the consummate GPS system whereby we never get lost. That's what they experienced. Now, as it turns out, this is an amazing story with several scenes. God's glory, the presence of God in this world, is exactly what Moses is desperately seeking to understand and as well as to see. When Moses says, a couple weeks ago, "Show me now your glory," Exodus 17, the cloud was a symbol of God's actual presence. And as a symbol of God's actual presence, it seems to hark back to God's, what we call an admonition, a caveat, a warning, maybe even an encouragement. He says to Moses, "You will not see my face, for no human can see my face and live." In other words, God and his undiminished presence can only be seen as through a cloud. And this is a tremendous tension within that portion of Pekudei and the dialogue there between God and Moses. Moses desperately wants the nation of Israel and God to come together as one, with God's presence palpably felt within Israel and in the world as well. But at that time, God informs Moses, "I will send an angel ahead of you, but I shall not ascend into your midst. You are a stiff-necked people, and I may be forced to annihilate you on the way." You see, God is explaining to the Israelites that his presence among them in a palpable and tangible way would very likely be to their detriment. In other words, it might not be such a good idea. After the second revelation, however, the second revelation of God, the God of unconditional love and unsurpassed forgiveness, which is what Moses hears about when he sees God in chapter 34. After that, Moses now feels encouraged to repeat his requests. And so he says in verse 9 of chapter 34, because he now feels empowered to ask God to enter in and live among Israel, he says, and Moses said, "If I have now found favor in your eyes, then let my Lord walk among them." He's saying it this way, precisely because Israel is a stiff-necked nation, for you will forgive their iniquity and their error and make us your heritage. He took to heart what God had said. After all, that's exactly how it's as if he's saying, after all, that's exactly how you, God, justified yourself to us in that second revelation. And in Leviticus, we're then told God promises he will actually walk among the tents of his people, chapter 26. And then this is, let me put it this way, and this is, in fact, the message that God gives Moses. Israel is the nation of covenant and permanence within a world of flux and change. And so God will dwell or live among his people and will guarantee their survival, no matter what, to the amazement of all, not just to the amazement of all Israel, but to the amazement of all the nations around about or surrounding Israel. Israel, in effect, will then bear more effective witness to the world of the evils of idolatry, as well as the wonders, the enjoyment of our festivals, our Sabbaths, and as one of the texts reminds us, of our righteous laws as well. And we'll do so until we are all ready for the ultimate restoration of the world. That is, of course, what was assigned to us when God said in Exodus 19, I'm going to take you to be my treasured possession so that you will be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. And in fact, as you're told, you're reminded in Deuteronomy 4, and if we live according to this pattern God has given to us, then the nations will look at us. Why will they be amazed? Yes, I know, this is a wow passage, but I now turned it into a boy passage. And I use that in a different sense than as boy and girl, so just to make sure that some of you have. And this too, by the way, is the message at the conclusion of the book of Exodus, and that's why I set it up this way. In the words of the 12th century Rabbi Nachmanides, the Ramban, in his introduction to the book of Exodus, he points out, behold, the exile has not ended until Israel returns to their place and to the exalted status of their ancestors. Only when they came to Sinai and then constructed the sanctuary, only when the Holy One rested his divine presence among them, could they finally be considered liberated. Therefore, this book concludes with the sanctuary filled with the glory of the divine in the middle of Israel. End quote. Well put, well noticed, well observed. And therefore, then, and hear this carefully, the sanctuary is the ultimate symbol of God's presence among Israel and in the world, and it's the promise of our ultimate liberation. And from this perspective, and now you got to hang in with me on this one, from this perspective, the Sukkah, which we build 5 days after the time of that second revelation took place at Yom Kippur, if you have forgotten. So the Sukkah which we build at that time, therefore represents the clouds of glory, as the rabbis understood it, and then looks forward to the ultimate Sukkah, or sanctuary, of world restoration. And the Sukkot which we build likewise remind us of the huts that we survived, in which we survived during our desert wanderings. And then they teach us that God remains among us, even as we wander towards this time of ultimate restoration. Always forgiving, as he said, always protecting, always present, as our closing paragraph of the book of Exodus reminds us. So, for the first time in the Torah, with the completion of the Mishkan, the tabernacle, the presence of God now has a regular home, an earthly residence. And this home is not only for God, it is in fact, remember, called a tent of meeting or a gathering for Israel as well. When God's presence enters the Mishkan, it is clear that Israel's work in building this sacred structure has been blessed. For the first time, by learning from past mistakes, and there were some obvious, all Israel, has a place to experience God. And this is the second scene of our amazing story. In other words, the same Israelites who once created the idol of the golden calf now create the Mishkan, which, and observe carefully, which, made of the same materials and by some of the very same processes, emphatically is not an idol. Having been given an explicit opportunity to fall again into the trap of deifying something material, having been handed the opportunity to make an image yet again, an image of God, the people instead create the Mishkan. And now they regard it only as a space not as a stand-in or a container for God. Now, in the Haftarah for this week, which is the other of the alternate Haftarah portions for this passage, Solomon reminds us in the dedication of that first temple, 1 Kings 8:22. Does God really dwell on earth? The heavens, even the highest heaven, cannot contain you. How much less this temple I have built? That was the same understanding that the people of Israel came to as they built the Mishkan. And once this purpose is established, God's presence then dwells in the Mishkan, among them. And the process of tshuva or repentance is now complete. And by the way, by repentance I don't mean as expressed for us at one point in time by Emo Phillips, who said, I asked God for a bike, but I know God doesn't work that way. So I stole the bike and asked for forgiveness instead. Not quite the stuff we're talking about here, but anyhow, the process of repentance for Israel from the golden calf is now complete. Given the prohibitions against making images of God, given the disaster of the golden calf and the lesson the Israelites have begun to learn that God cannot be represented physically, we might just expect the presence of God in the Mishkan to be without form altogether. In other words, totally invisible. However, notice what our text says. God's presence is actually seen in the Mishkan in not one, but in two different ways. As a cloud by day and as fire by night. Now, why does God come to the Israelites, as well as to us as we read? Why does he come in these very common forms? Wouldn't the lesson of the golden calf be more clearly enforced if God's presence remained untainted by any physical form? Well, perhaps these manifestations exist precisely in order to teach the Israelites that an intimate experience of God can exist within visible and tangible realms. The problem with worshiping the golden calf was not that the calf could be seen. It was that the golden calf was worshipped as if it was all there was to God. Here, the Israelites in the Mishkan learned that an encounter with God does not have to be so abstract, so removed from their sensory experiences that they are left with any means of comprehending or describing it. In other words, the divine experience can include things seen. However, it must also transform our perception of the seen object, transform our understanding of God, and by extension, transform the very act of seeing and the seers themselves. Remember the burning bush that was on fire but not consumed? This phenomenon is contrary to our understanding of what happens when a bush catches on fire. It doesn't keep burning, right? So for Moses, the very existence of the burning bush awakens the possibility that there is something divine in that fire. I mean, look, God could just as easily have come to Moses without a burning bush. However, this is what enables Moses to find evidence of God's actual presence. Before God even addresses Moses sees the fire acting quite differently, and so he realizes that there is much more to the world than what he knows. Later, we read about the two pillars that accompany the Israelites as they leave Egypt. You remember, a pillar of cloud by day, a pillar of fire by night. Cloud is a signpost, and the fire is an illuminated guide in the darkness. And both show Israel a path to follow on their journey through the wilderness. But notice again, neither object acts naturally. The cloud does not blanket and obscure, as we expect clouds to do. Instead, it is contained in a pillar and provides direction for the Israelites. Similarly, the fire does not spread and destroy whatever is in its path, as we expect fire to do. But like the cloud, the fire is contained as a giant torch. And so in both of these manifestations, the Israelites begin to see, just as Moses saw in the bush, the possibility of natural things, things of this earth, being bent and shaped in unnatural, supernatural ways by the ultimate supernatural one. And then in our parsha, God's presence now dwells in the completed Mishkan. Not as something invisible to Israel, but as something very familiar. Just as before, God's presence is manifested by the cloud by day and the fire by night. But here too the familiar acts in an unusual way. The cloud remains in the Mishkan. It does not drift or dissipate. And even more remarkably, the fire burns night after night and does not consume anything. And so each morning the Mishkan remains intact. These manifestations, these miracles, allow Israel to encounter quite literally God's presence, but still remain aware that their perceptions cannot even begin to encompass the totality of that presence. Much like Solomon reminded us, even the highest heavens can't contain this God. Now, had God acted or lived invisibly in the Mishkan, had the Israelites never seen God's presence there, they might have assumed that seeking visual encounters with God is a form of idolatry. By appearing in the full view of all the house of Israel, that's effectively what verse 38 says, chapter 4, God teaches that the problem with worshiping idols is not the visual experience itself. The problem occurs when we act, the problem occurs when the act merely confirms our limited preconceptions about God. The Israelites see God's presence in natural, familiar forms that then transcend and undermine those very forms. This seeing and this dissonance tests their understanding of the world and leads to a more complex relationship with and a view of God. And so it is for us. We need not be wary of looking for visual evidence of God's presence in the world around us. Seeking God's presence with our eyes is not in itself idolatrous. It's only idolatry when we know in advance what we will see. When our expectations restrain us and therefore limit Him. Unfortunately, we may have been so afraid of making idols that we have limited ourselves to divine experiences that remain abstract and often detached, expecting ourselves to develop a relationship with God without using our senses. What would happen if we started looking for God's presence in fire and clouds once more? How much do our relationships with God stand to gain from our actually seeing what may have been there all along? And in case you've forgotten that that's how we're supposed to do exactly this thing, that's exactly how we're to live this way of life, please remember the brachot, the blessings, that there's a blessing for almost everything that occurs in our lives. You remember, there's a blessing if you encounter someone who's really good looking. There's a blessing also if you encounter someone who does not fit that description. Blessings for light and thunder. Blessings for everything we encounter in life to remind us to do what? To look for God. Not just in the fire and in the cloud, but in the lightning and the thunder and in the people we encounter and so forth. At the very least, we'll benefit from this kind of search. From our looking day and night for God, God's presence and God's hand. And at best, it's possible that if we look, we will see. And then we will never see the same way again, because we ourselves will have been changed. And this now brings me to the third scene with respect to the Mishkan. And it's the last scene we will look at. We'll do so only briefly. According to the Midrash, there was another aspect to the Mishkan. This is really wonderful if you contemplate it. The sages describe the Mishkan as a microcosm of the universe, with each of its vessels or utensils corresponding to yet another part of the creation. And so they tell us that the tent paralleled the heavens, and in fact, by the time of the Second Temple, the very veil in front of the temple looked like the heavens. The menorah, we're told, paralleled the sun and the moon. The laver paralleled the oceans, and so on, as they describe it through the other days of creation. Now, by describing the Mishkan in this way, the Midrash suggests that the structure itself was a model of a restored, a redeemed, a rescued, a renewed creation. It fulfilled God's original intention of the world, or for the world, as a setting for the revelation of God Himself. And this was the nature of the Garden of Eden. And that is why Gan Eden, or the Garden of Eden, becomes, as the rabbis understand it, the paradise toward which we are moving. And therefore it will be the nature of the future world when the knowledge of God, as Isaiah reminds us, will fill the earth as the waters cover the sea. It's the time when God's presence will once again be on earth as the temple comes down from the sky and resides yet again in Jerusalem, Revelation. It's a time when, as our ancestors were able to, so also we will literally walk with God in the Garden of Eden. That's what we anticipate when we respond, as we will in just a few minutes with the Amen. The time the world will be perfected under the rule of the Lord Almighty. A very brief epilogue to our story tonight. And it's one that enables us to experience and encounter the same reality as our ancestors did as they walked with God in the wilderness. And it has to do with our Haftarah portion for this evening. And so I will simply remind you of what was read, because it's fairly straightforward. As when our ancestors came up to the temple for Rosh Chodesh or any of the other festivals, so also with us when we come before God. They had to go through a period of cleansing, and so they were the many mikvahot just outside the temple. And yet those of you who've been with us in Israel, you've seen. If you ever get to go with us to Israel in the future, we'll show them to you. But here's what our Haftarah portion reminds us of. God says, I will gather you from all the countries. I'll bring you back into your own land. Here it is. I will sprinkle clean water on you. I will cleanse you from all your impurities. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit in you and move you to follow my decrees. Here's the key to it all. You will live in the land I gave your ancestors. You will be my people. I will be your God. This is what the sovereign Lord says. On that day, I will cleanse you from all your sins. And I will resettle your towns. The ruins will be rebuilt. The desolate land will be cultivated. And they will say, the land which was laid waste has become like Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden. And now, as the Drash title reminds us, we know the way back to Eden, as at the beginning. And remember, at the beginning, the Spirit of God was there, hovering over the waters. And so now we have the opportunity of Him not only residing in us, but also enabling us and being our resource. That's some of the stuff that we were doing when we last looked at the book of Ephesians. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, pick it up where we left off in Ephesians. I'll go next week with this very same thing. But in the meantime, we're back at the beginning. God was present among us then. God, we can experience that same God present among us in our encounter and our walk with Him. Rocco, help us. The Spirit of God will welcome us. You take advantage of the resources that God has given to us as you now respond. As promised, we now rise, joining pages 102 to 107, as we anticipate the time when the world will be perfected under the rule of the Lord Almighty, and there will be that restoration. All false gods will put in an end. It will be, in fact, once again, time for God to death, the King of David's great son. That's our anticipation, and our commitment is to take on our call in order to make the world more ready for that to take place. Pages 102 to 107, we face Jerusalem, the direction of the ark.
Aleinu l'shabeach Adon ha'avol, Atei kedula le'yotze be'reshit, Shalo asan v'goya ha'asot, V'lo samadu k'mishpechot ha'adama, Shalo samkakenu kahem, V'gor aleinu k'chal ha'monam, Ve'achnu korim u'mishtachim u'modim Lifnei melech malachei hamachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu notei shamayim ve'yoser haaretz U'moshav yikaro b'shamayim imahal U'shkinatu zo Legabe meromim Hu Eloheinu Eino Emet Malkeinu Efen Sulato HaKatuv B'Torato Vayadata Hayom V'Hashevota El Levavecha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim V'Shamayim Imaha Ve'al Haaretz Mitachat Eino. It is incumbent upon us to praise the Master of all, to exalt the Creator of the world, for He has made us distinct from the nations and unique among the families of the earth. Our destiny is not like theirs, our calling is untasked. We bow down and acknowledge before the King of Kings that there is none like Him. For He stretched forth the heavens like a tent, and established the earth. Truly there is none like our Lord and King. As the Torah says, you shall know this day, and reflect in your heart, that it is the Lord who is God in the heavens above, and on the earth beneath there is none else. We hope, O Lord our God, to soon behold your majestic glory, when all nations shall be removed, and all false gods shall be at an end. Then shall the world be perfected under the rule of the Lord Almighty, and all mankind shall call upon your name. For to you every knee must bow, and every tongue declare that you are God. Reign over us soon and forever. May the kingdom of David's greater Son be established forever. For then shall the words be fulfilled, the Lord shall be king forever, and the Lord shall be king over all the earth. On that day the Lord shall be one, and his name one. The name of Adonai, the Melech HaOretz, Vayom Hahu, Yeh Adonai Echad, Ushemo Echad.
You may be seated, including Gary. All right, some of you may, and I do say that very tentatively, may have noticed when you look at the back of the bulletin, no, the front of the bulletin, that our leadership team has expanded. And what we wanted to do tonight, and given the nature of our congregation, I need to say right out, not everybody's here every week. And you've got to come 3 or 4 or 6 or 10 weeks before you get to meet everyone. Same thing with the leadership group. So, but we did want to set aside, since Rosh Chodesh is a special day, we want to set this time aside to formally welcome our new leaders and to recognize them. And I didn't tell them this before, the sacrifice that they are going to be making because they come onto the leadership team. For those who've been around for a while, you know what's involved there. Okay, so I'm going to ask the following people to come up. First, we want to welcome our new Zakheim to our council. Mike and Tessie afterwards. Where's Mike? Right, come on up front. You're the people who are going to get to stand. All the way up front. Jenny White, who served as chair of the Shah Machine, we'll drag Mike up here. To the Shah Machine, we've got a couple people who unfortunately could not get back from San Antonio in time to be here. Alex and Kat Brown. So we also are welcoming to the Shah Machine Maria Escura, Terry Roberts, and Jacob Long. And to the Chazanim, the cantors, we welcome the gentleman just walking up, Jacob Long. Yeah, go right ahead. That's perfectly appropriate. Now, we don't just welcome them. There's a special ceremony of welcoming them.
Make popcorn.
Yeah, something like that. All right. Jenny, would you hunt up Mike if he can be found? Oh, I'm told you might have to wait outside.
Oh.
You can run. You can. That one's for me.
Don't go too far.
Okay, up front. We're welcoming a new leadership team. And we're also making you stand up front so everyone can gaze at you. But from time to time, especially when we've welcomed more than one onto the team, we have actually put together sort of a dedication or installation service for our new leaders. And to begin with, let me read from Psalm 15. Lord, who may enter your presence and serve in your tabernacle and your holy place? Most appropriate reading, don't you think, for tonight? Who gets to serve? Anyone who leads an exemplary life and does what's right and good and kind. Anyone who refuses to slander others, does not listen to gossip, never harms their neighbor, speaks out against wrong, commends the faithful followers of the Lord, keeps a promise even if it hurts them, finds the good in people, and considers others innocent despite accusations. Such a person shall stand firm forever. That is what we expect of you. Didn't tell you that either, did I? But that is what God is welcoming you to. Now, you need to respond to that, and you've got the response there. So if you will then, this is Psalm 119, it's verses 11 to 16, as well as verses 33 to 38. It expresses some of their commitment in their response. So please begin.
I have thought much about your words and stored them in my heart, so that they would hold me back from sin. Blessed Lord, teach me your guidelines. I have reflected on your instructions, and rejoice in them more than riches. I will meditate upon them and give them my full respect. I will not forget them. Just tell me what to do, and I will do it, Lord. As long as I live, I will wholeheartedly obey you. Make me walk along the right paths, for I know how delightful they are. Help me prefer obedience to making money. Turn me away from wanting any other plan than yours. Revive my heart toward you. Remind me your promises are for me, for I must trust and revere you.
That is a commitment that you're making. Actually, everyone should make this commitment, right? That's the commitment you're making. And so we commend you for making that commitment. There's a prayer of consecration, and I would ask that those council members who are present among us, we had a couple others here earlier, but it's gone. So, and it looks like at least somebody else who's on duty. So Gary and Patrice, please join.
Too late to recruit right now?
Too late to recruit. And Diane, as a council member who's stepping down, please join. In a sense, you're passing on the baton. That doesn't mean we won't call on you for stuff.
What are you doing now? Behind?
Yeah, behind them. Because truly you're going to be behind them. And basically affirm this prayer of consecration or dedication. It is from the standard liturgy. It's called Rabbon Kol HaOlamim. It says, Sovereign of the universe, in compassion and favor, accept the prayers and the requests of your children, who are gathered here to consecrate your servants, and to thank you for all the love and truth you have shown them. We ask that your favor and blessing remain on them. Grant that they would fear you, the Lord their God, walk in all your ways, love you, and serve you with all their hearts and minds, and would follow all your instructions and guidelines as found in Scripture. And then there's the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hakodesh asher kidesh ha'avdeika ha'avodateka avodat Yeshua HaMashiach. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha'avdeka. Which being translated reads, deserving of praise are you, O Lord our God, Sovereign of the universe, the Holy One, who sets apart your servants for your service, the service of your anointed. If you all join me, Amen. 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 All right, we're going to greet them up here. You get to greet them afterwards in the normal minhag or fashion we do. Now, I'm going to ask that you stay. I'm going to ask that you stay up front, gang. Don't sit down. Jacob, where are you? Okay, I'm going to ask that you do this a little differently. If you will ascend the Bama, and although the blessing goes to all of us, and I'm going to ask all of us to stand, sort of focus it on these lovely people.
I'll focus it to the best of my ability.
Well, this thing keeps popping on and off. It's not you up there, it's
Your battery's low.
It's perfect green. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Alright. And the socks. Please rise. Because this is not just for them, this is for you as well.
Our God and God of our fathers, bless us with the threefold blessing, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotinu, Berachenu, Beracha, Hamashim L'Shetz. Yirechecha Adonai v'yismarecha, Ya'el Adonai b'recha v'yichunecha, Yisa Adonai b'recha v'yasem b'cha shalom. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Goodbye, shalom.
Alright, you guys can move back to your places. Don't bother sitting down because I'm going to make you stand up in just a minute. Just a reminder of some of the opportunities ahead to take advantage of